Number one, using people for your own advantage repels God's favor. He says in verse 3, you exploit all your workers. Dr. June Hunt describes manipulation like this. She's a psychologist. She says, manipulation is the art of controlling people or circumstances by indirect, unfair, or deceptive means, especially to one's own advantage. Those who are manipulated allow others to have excessive control over them, the control that God alone should have. This is in some of our blood more than others, and that's okay, but we have to identify it as the hell disease, and we got to try to strain it out. When we're manipulative, when we're oppressing people with manipulation, often that's emotional manipulation in contrast to just logical reasoning, appealing to people's sense of what's right. I'll give you a great two examples. You've got Delilah. Remember Delilah? She's the girlfriend of Samson, the whack job, who is super strong, and he keeps hanging with this girl that he's even like half aware that she wants to like get him captured by the Philistines. And so he keeps lying to her, keeps telling her, no, that's not really the way my strength goes away, Delilah. And she starts getting whiny and whiny and whiny, and she's doing this for her own good, man. She just wants to be in good with her people. And so what does she say? Finally, she says, oh, Samson, if you really loved me, you would confide in me. What is she doing? She's manipulating him. She's just laying it on heavy, man. Contrast that to Queen Esther. Now, Queen Esther's got a lot to lose, okay? She goes into the king, and she knows I could die just going into the king. But I'm going to tell him this wicked Haman has got this whole plot to kill all the Jews. And she says, hey, king, can I just tell you, yeah, me and my people, we've been sold for destruction and slaughter and annihilation by this wicked Haman. And I tell you, if he'd sold us only as slaves, I would have kept quiet. But because my people are in such distress, I've got to disturb the king. And she just explains it real sweet, real simple. She's not trying to emotionally control him. And my friends, sometimes we try to emotionally control people. That's when we withhold love or withhold affection. Or we say, if you do this, then I'll finally help you do that. If you'll behave this way, if you'll give me this thing, then okay, finally I'll agree. And what that is, we got to understand, so we don't even know this. That's manipulation. That's wrong. That's not real love. Love doesn't play with you like that. And God says, sometimes we do this not only within families, sometimes we do it to other people. We do it online. We do it at work. And that kind of thing, God says, take a look inside because that thing has got to go if you want to not repel my favor. And for some of us, I just want to encourage you, maybe this was in your bloodstream, meaning this was demonstrated to you. And I feel for that, man. We've all come from somewhere where some stuff was demonstrated to us that maybe wasn't so good. It's okay, but what you got to do is you got to start calling it what it is. It's something Jesus wants to remove. He wants to lovingly take his scalpel and pull that part of the hell virus out and instead put in non-domineering, non-manipulative, non-trying to trick somebody into doing something and just appeal to their conscience and let God handle it. Are we hearing this? Now, there's a darker version. That is emotional manipulation, but there's forceful, violent even, deceptive manipulation. And that's what we're going to talk about in just a couple minutes. So if you've got some young ones, now would be the time to take them out of the room or take them out into the hallway down by the cafe. For the past majority of years, we've partnered with an organization called International Justice Mission. And guys, I'm so proud of us, hopefully in a good way. These guys go all over the world. And what's great about this organization is they don't just appeal to the law for it. They actually get involved with police and they go and they break in and they rescue kids. And then they pull them out and they bring them through recovery programs, Christ-centered, and they help people get their lives back together. And dude, they are relentless. They're all over the place. That's what they do. And we've been blessed enough to be able to partner with them. And I want to show you one story of one of the gals that was rescued there. Let's watch it.
Imagine yourself at 12 years old. Do you remember your school uniform? Do you remember what you dreamed about as a child? All I wanted was to study, to write, to learn. Going to school was my dream. We didn't have much. I used to scavenge rubbish to swap for pens and paper. I wanted to achieve everything so I could give my parents everything. When I was 12, a family friend made my dream happen. He paid for me to go to a private school in Manila and drove us hours to get there. To me, Manila felt like America. At last, I had a school uniform. I was so happy and grateful. But I didn't know there would be a price for the kindness he showed me. After school, he abused me for men around the world to watch online. I had to perform in front of a webcam. If I didn't, he would hurt me. And in locker rooms around me, other younger children were made to do the same. I wanted to die. After 5 years, one Friday afternoon, I returned from school with the same fear as always. But instead, this time the police and IG were there. At first, I was scared and confused. But slowly I began to realize that I was safe. It was finally over. Healing was difficult. It still hurts. But this I know. He stole my dignity, but he could never steal my hope. If that young girl who was so desperate to learn could see me now, she would be proud.
Man, how's that not get on your insides? That is not the only kind of oppression, though, that is forced and coercive and violent. Let's watch one more. This is not sexual in the same way, but let's watch one more guy's story.
My name is Jun Ham, and I am a scammer. Most people ignore me, but I keep going. I have to. It's a numbers game. Eventually, something works. I can't show mercy, for none is shown to me.
Stop your working! Stop your working! Look at me!
I know what it means to be scammed, to feel cheated, and then to live in fear. I was applying for a customer service job. I was told I was a top candidate, so I traveled to a new country. But when I stepped through those doors, I realized I had been tricked. Now I am forced to take from you. There are thousands of us, 30 to a room. We live here. If we fail, if we complain, if we get caught contacting the outside for help, we get beaten. They check our phones. I can't tell my family what has really happened to me. This is my life. My name is Jun Hao, and I was a scammer. Today, I am free.
I am not the only thing happening anywhere. My story, my things that I'm going to do over the next few months, that's not the only thing happening. There's young men and women who are in his position. They can't get out. They're stuck. Unless someone comes to get them, that's where they're going to stay. You think God cares about that? Some people are wondering, and God is wondering, do my people care about that?